Whoa! And we are back. This is Malty with the GCA, and we have a guest. We're talking about episode 3 and 4 of the Fallout TV show. We've got Americus with us.
Hello.
Drop some knowledge on
I'll try. No
him.
promises.
Yeah, so we're going to have a little bit more of a looser discussion about the things that we noticed in our watch parties. So just kind of feeling things out on how we want to do movie reviews and the format in the future. So, what have you thought so far? What's your general overall feeling
So far,
on
my
this?
my overall feeling about the series is just kind of meh. I mean, it really hasn't grabbed me too much.
And
It's
this is coming from someone who has played all the games.
almost all the games, with the exception of 1 and 2, which I really need to work on.
Yeah,
I've played pretty much all the Fallout games except 1 and 2, and the two spin-off redheaded stepchilds that we don't talk about. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, dude. Well, I asked Americus to come in not only because we're pretty good friends, but also because he knows a lot of the lore and can point out a bunch of things that maybe a normie doesn't see. So trying to keep it lighthearted, but also a little bit critical where we need to find critiques. Um, so starting out episode 3, it was called The Beginning, and what we start at is finding out that the ghoul, a little bit of his backstory. And we see that he's not only a doting father, which we saw in episode 1, but he's also a really good husband, and his wife also loves him and is like showering him with gifts as well. So the way that he ends up, there's a lot more story to be told because obviously, there wasn't something underneath the roof, something bubbling under the surface. Did you have any thoughts on that?
I thought the relationship was portrayed pretty well. I mean, they seemed like a happy couple. They had a kid. The kid seemed happy. It seemed like your a atypical Hollywood relationship.
True, especially for the time period, the way
Yeah.
that's portrayed.
Well, you also got to remember this takes place in the Fallout universe, and segregation ended in the Fallout universe, probably maybe around the same time it did in ours. So even though they're kind of stuck, in the 1950s aesthetic, I kind of don't think that, something like segregation would still be around in 2077 or whenever that scene takes place.
Well, that's just a giant own for the woke community because
Oh,
if you don't know the actual setting of the Fallout lore,
yeah.
then people would think it's woke, and it's actually not that way at all,
Yeah,
and
it's
that is
it's the
canon.
complete opposite.
One part about that right in the beginning, I just had to write it down. Whenever he stops the scene before Alec Baldwin's finger pulls the trigger, um, he stops the scene and says, "I don't think my character would do that." And he starts arguing with the director, and it's like, "No, that's just not in the person's character." It reminded me a lot of Jenna Ortega with what she did on the Wednesday, on the set of Wednesday, and notoriety and also infamously. And I thought that was a really good uh, portrayal of his character and who he actually is before all the other stuff happened.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good character portrayal of him, showing how he has a absolute problem with killing someone in cold blood, and of course later on we see that he has absolutely no problem with it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a nice little starting point.
Yeah, I hopefully we get to see. And by the way, we haven't watched the entire series yet. We're trying to give it to y'all like as soon as we watch it, so the excitement is still there. And we could be completely wrong about what we're saying, but it's just our first takeaways. There's another thing, the next thing that I want to talk about, and that's everyone's favorite cunt, get some drinks up for this one because we have to talk about Maximus and his lack of character development. Or maybe I'm just the racist here. I don't know, Americas. What do you think about him so far?
I think I really don't like him. He's a bungling idiot, for starters. I mean, there is no way any professional organization would give him. I'm still baffled from like episode, I believe it was 1 or 2, when they actually it was the first one when they made him a squire. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, what? He couldn't identify a circuit like 20 minutes ago, and you're okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, and what happens in this episode is just further deepens my belief that he's a moron.
Good. One thing that I wrote and what really started, well, I was already pissed off. I talked about it in my first solo review. But then in this episode, I was like, are you serious? You really going to pull off stolen valor and expect me to actually give a shit about you at all?
Yeah. That's I have a serious problem with that. That's just
Dude does
and
nothing. He does nothing but take shortcuts, and he has no
mhm.
shame about it either.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he let his knight die, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? Because he said a couple of mean words to him. Whoop de fucking do.
Yeah,
Um,
and there was absolutely no character development later on in the same episode where the guy who used to pick on him becomes his squire, even though he
yeah,
has absolutely no business being in that suit anyway. And that dude has he has absolutely no hesitation when it comes to saving his knight.
yeah,
We're supposed to think that he becomes soft over that. It was like, nah, dude, you're the one that's constantly fucked up, and you're still in the position of power. It's like, I hate you. Go away.
yeah. I think they might quotation marks give him a little bit of a saving grace, or to maybe get a little closer to his squire, because the scene where the squire tells him, oh yeah, we beat the shit out of that guy, but then again they beat the shit out of me, and the guys before them beat the shit out of them, and it's just kind of a thing that's happened, and maybe he can, I don't know, understand that or something, that they weren't just picking on him exclusively. I don't know, it was
I,
kind of a weird little exchange that just stuck in my head for some reason.
yeah, I can almost guarantee at this point that they're going to try to throw that in there. However, I think it's still cheap and unearned. That's
Oh
just
yeah,
lazy writing.
it's very unearned.
They probably know that, like, you all good, man?
Oh, sorry, I was banging tobacco out of my pipe. I had to like smack it against my palm. I was sitting here cleaning it a little bit, and I'm like, oh shit, maybe he could hear that, and
It was
kind of
pretty
stopped
loud.
mid sentence. Are you okay? Oh yeah, I'm fine. Sorry, never mind.
I was like, maybe he's beating his chest or something like that.
I'll edit that out in post.
Godzilla X Kong just came out. You never know. Oh fuck! I think. Well, shit. I can't rewatch it right now. I think we're done with that topic, or we could just cut it and go somewhere
Yeah.
else. Oh no, there is another part that I want to talk about that one.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, there's also another part to Maximus, and then I'm done talking about this motherfucker. Um, it's basically it's trying to make him a sympathetic character or someone we should empathize with, but it literally shows that he is absolutely nothing without the suit because he
Mm-hmm.
constantly is getting his ass beat.
Oh yeah. I mean, he almost had his suit of armor stolen by scabbers who were
Mm-hmm.
pretty much unarmed. I mean, they basically just fist fought him when he tried to take it back. And the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, dude, you have a weapon. why aren't you using it? Why aren't you threatening them with it? Why aren't you doing something with it? Instead, you're just going to get into a fist fight with 4 guys and then get your ass kicked. Well, that further proves my theory that you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, enough talking about this dude.
Yeah.
This person.
It's individual.
It's probably not the actor's fault, even though he's a bad actor. Well, maybe he's not directed properly, but
That could be.
it's not his fault. Don't take it out on him. It's just the way the character is written.
Yeah. It's just terrible writing, or bad writing, I should say. It's not really terrible, but
Yeah. Speaking of bad writing, how many jokes have landed for you?
oh god. None, actually. None. And I mean, fair warning, my sense of humor is kind of messed up, but you know me well enough to know that. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we get along so well.
oh
We
yeah.
got that
I mean,
dark humor.
that's kind of why I like the Fallout games. There is so much dark humor in them. And shit goes from normal to zany in like 2 seconds, and I kind of appreciate that. But in this series so far, the jokes have just fell very flat with me, especially the ones with the vault dwellers, because I mean, I get that they're supposed to be secluded, and they don't know what the hell's going on in the world.
They're brainwashed.
Oh yeah, big time.
It feels almost like a Jehovah's Witness or an Amish cult.
Oh god, it does.
Yeah, but I will say one thing regarding that, because I don't want to just shit on this thing the whole time, because I'm actually enjoying myself watching it. There's good and bad with everything. So
Oh yeah.
I guess with the dark humor, I tend to focus more on the bad, and because the good will speak for itself.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of platitudes in the writing, which is part of how Vaultec was advertising themselves. So I think that's a nice little thing that maybe a lot of people um, haven't put together, but that's completely a part of the game. So
Yeah.
I enjoy that aspect of it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
Before we wrap up episode 3, there's something that I noticed, and we had it in our discussion after we did our watch party. By the way, guys, on the Discord, that watch party is open to the public. Anyone can come in. So if you want to come in, you're totally cool to be a part of the conversation. There you go, kitty.
Oh yeah.
Kitty.
I was wondering if you could hear her.
Well, that one was in the mic.
Oh yeah, yeah. She was really close to the mic that time.
Oh, it's great. And guess what? We're leaving it in.
Oh god.
So the basic town hall meeting at the end of episode 3. So the first notes, I was just writing them out as it came without paying attention to context. And my first comment was like, did Mindy Kaling write this? This is so absolutely stupid. It sounds like an episode of Velma. But I did end up wondering after seeing the full context, I was like, is this satire? Because it's nothing but liberal talking points. And not to go into like politics or anything like that, but it's like woke agenda rhetoric. It's like maybe they're making fun of it because the vault dwellers are so stupid in the head. So what do you think about that?
I think it could be satire, but damn, satire is really hard to do right anymore.
The boys started out with it very well, and
yeah,
just it's starting to blur. Well, it has blurred the lines for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a thought. I didn't know, like, if anyone else thought about that. Like, if you want to pontificate, go ahead.
Knock yourself out in the comments. We'll delete them as necessary.
or we'll be normal Americans and let.
Or we'll just troll the hell out of you.
Yeah, that's more like it. We'll just call you gay. That wins every argument. Just call him gay.
Totally.
All right. Well, if you're cool with episode 3, let's move on to episode 4. I'm not gonna lie. As soon as it started out, I saw the rad roaches, and y'all know how much I thought that like the river monster was gonna be a Mirelurk, and so that was a little bit of fan service that I was like, all right, I'm starting to get excited again. They got rad roaches in here.
I saw
What do
the
you?
red.
Sorry, go
I saw the rad roaches and I got grossed out. I was like, "Oh God, I
ahead.
can't eat dinner and watch this at the same time." But then again, cockroaches normally gross the hell out of me and out of me in real life, so that's not surprising that giant ones wouldn't have a worse effect on me.
But yeah, at least that one wasn't attacking
Yeah, true.
them, and not in a swarm either.
Ugh.
So, what do you think about all the Easter eggs, all the hidden things that are that normies would not pick up on? They wouldn't know what it was. They'd think it's something crazy or something stupid. But for people who play the game, at least for me, um, I'm loving all of it.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of weird in that fan service doesn't really work on me. It's
Hmm.
um it's like, "Oh, hey, a vault boy." Okay. Let's get on with the show, shall we? Rad roaches, okay, yeah, they're a thing that exists in the Fallout universe. Yes, Yao Guai, oh yeah, okay, I see him. I'm wondering how they're going to do Death Claws and super mutants, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, true. And there was. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to the end, the very last scene of episode 3, real quick. But one thing that I did enjoy is when the ghoul sees that Vault Tech billboard,
Yeah.
and Lucy is looking up at it in admiration, and he just blows the face out of it.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, what does that mean? Is he just angry at everything, or let's go back and actually pay attention to the stepping stones that they have laid out in previous episodes. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah. I think it could be he's angry at everything. Vault dwellers and Vault Tech in general are not held in very high regard in the Fallout universe, so it could just be him being a normal wastelander. I mean, you heard it with the lady in Philly that Lucy tried to get. I can't remember what she was doing, but the one lady's like fucking vault dwellers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah.
Well, that also should have told Lucy something, and she probably wasn't thinking about it. But other people have left the vault before
Oh yeah.
because they already have a reputation on how stupid they are or how naive they are.
Yeah.
I don't think she's put those two together, but she is definitely starting to, and that's going into episode 4. Lucy grows up quick.
Oh yeah.
It is all very earned, though.
Yeah, it is. I'm actually kind of impressed with Lucy's character because up until now she didn't really strike me as anything special. I mean, I
Hmm.
would have considered her character kind of meh, but I'm starting to like her a little bit. So,
I think her character is the biggest one that makes sense. Not
oh
only
yeah,
for her being a little bit stupid, a little bit, um, but also proficient in some things. Like we talked about the skill tree in the last review. That's how the show starts out. Is her like hyping herself up, and then she gets out into the end of the wasteland, and oh, that skill tree didn't really freaking matter that much
yeah,
because you weren't against these ragtag people who have been like fighting to survive. You've been in a controlled environment,
hmm
and so she's opening up her eyes to real life real freaking quick.
oh
But
yeah,
she's I feel like I feel like it's done in a very natural way.
yeah, and it's done in a way that's really consistent with the lore of the world itself. I mean, you would have to imagine that. Hopefully, this isn't a spoiler, but organ harvesting is kind of a thing that happens in the Fallout. It's like, oh shit, I need a new spleen.
I also need some chopped off limbs so I can
Yeah.
load them up in the gun as ammunition.
I'd always use money because that was always the funniest thing. Just kill them with useless dollar bills. Like, here you go. Blam.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what Alec Baldwin's finger does to every G&G chat. So we also found out something else in episode 4 that Chet is a complete cuck.
Oh yeah.
I always knew he was a little bit of a poof, but he is just a complete cuck looking for whatever comes his way.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about cuckoldry, Americus?
Oh God.
I don't even know if that's the right word.
Why? No, no, it's the right word. I mean, I'm just kind of like, why? Why do
I,
that to yourself?
I guess in a vault where there's
Very limited options.
yeah, and he's also like he seems to be a fine physical specimen for a man.
Yeah.
He just doesn't act like a man.
No. He acts like an
He
overgrown, I don't want to say teenager, but maybe early teens would probably be a bit more accurate, but
well, this is what happens when you fuck your cousin.
yeah, basically.
All right,
You hear
Jeremy,
that,
pay
chat?
attention.
Don't fuck your cousin.
Yeah, don't
Doesn't
do
end
it.
well.
Mississippi, Alabama, stay away from those places.
Southern Missouri.
Northern Arkansas.
Oh yeah, that area. Hi, Mando.
Golly, the freaking Bible Belt. Oops. Well, Adam and Eve started somewhere.
Yeah. It's like, oh crap. Well, at least we're not related. Well, they did take my rib.
Yeah. Golly, I had notes about organ harvesting too, and you already hit on that, so that's
Oh, wow.
awesome.
That's my favorite subject to talk about, believe it or not.
Oh, that was the joke that landed. That's why I
Oh
wrote it down
yeah.
because it has a giant ha ha organ harvesting. So, yeah, the Mr. Handy.
Yeah. That was actually the only joke that actually landed with me. I mean, it does match my messed up sense of humor, but it also matches the sense of humor of the Fallout games because it's very well, it's not very dark, but it's dark. It's not like happy, slap happy. Well, I mean, it can be sometimes, especially if you have the Wild Wasteland perk. But yeah, when he said, "I'm just going to harvest your organs," that made me chuckle. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, goodness, no. I'm just going to harvest your organs. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
That's the kind of thing I would actually expect to happen in like a Fallout game. It's like, oh god, I'm gonna have my organs harvested by this fucking crazy robot.
Yeah, that's definitely the dark humor of the games, and not the campy like slapstick stuff that they've been
Yeah,
trying to do in the other 3 episodes.
yeah.
Okay, we can talk about that part at the end, but
Okay.
I do want to say, so far, episode 4 is by far the strongest episode
Oh yeah, big
for
time
me.
for me too.
And maybe it's because it doesn't have a certain person in it, but it's just so much better done.
Yeah, it's it's starting to really appeal to me a bit more. It's I'm starting to like it. I'm upgrading my review from meh to meh and a half. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so far I'm starting to like it.
Yeah, me too. And it's a good feeling to actually be excited to watch the next episode again.
Yeah,
Like that hasn't happened in a long time for
yeah. Because
most of the
lately I've
TV.
been kind of like, oh, it's episode 3. Yay.
Mm. What else will they fuck up?
Yeah. Oh,
There. Go ahead. If you
that's
got a
one
point.
thing we can touch on is the ghouls and how they go feral. Because in the show they basically flat out say that if they have to take I believe it's either Rataway or Radex. I'm pretty sure it's Rataway.
Yeah.
Or they go feral. In the games, they always left it as a mystery. They don't know why ghouls will sometimes, just go feral. And that was what driving factor that led to a lot of the prejudice that Wastelanders had towards ghouls.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, because there were definitely characters in the games that were like rationally thinking. You could have conversations with them.
oh yeah,
They had their own communes and stuff where like they
yeah.
found a bunch of ghouls that spoke English and
Hmm.
had a community. And then there were the feral ones. It was left uh, basically opaque or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not the right word, but I
No,
mean,
that's
I guess
inaccurate.
you kind of get where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
It was left up to interpretation. And I didn't see. Maybe I have to look in. So in the games, Radaway was kind of like was like a health pack, and then Rad X gave you increased immunity, so you just like pump yourself up with that, and then you can go into a
Yeah, and then
highly
you can go
rated
into high.
area,
Yeah,
and then it takes way longer to affect your health.
yeah. Right away would just basically just reduce the amount of radiation that you
Hmm.
were suffering from.
Yeah, so I would assume that what the ghoul is taking is Rad X because it's not taking away his radiation at all. He's
Mm.
already afflicted. Although I could be wrong. Director, tell me if I'm right.
I'm pretty
I
sure you're
definitely,
right.
I definitely want to talk more about the ghoul thing, but just so we can get off. Oh, okay, that's gonna come off the wrong way. Um,
Wait, I don't know. This
we
is that kind of voice call. Holy shit!
so we can get off the topic of Lucy because I think we both agree that like she's an awesome part of the show. Um, her altruism, right after the "we're gonna harvest your organ" scene, and then when she gets out of that, her
Yeah.
altruism bites her in the ass yet again.
Oh
So
yeah.
she fails in a decision yet again. Once again, chat and commenters and watchers, not a Mary Sue.
Yeah, she's definitely not. I mean, the fight between her and the ghoul. I mean, she had her finger bit off or cut off. Um, she was tortured. Well, actually, she was being used as bait, but she thought it was torture.
Anyway, it's still torture when you're donked. You can't escape.
Oh yeah.
It's torture. Oh, you brought that part up, dude. I was trying to stay on more positive topics. She got her finger chopped off. And this is probably a spoiler, but don't worry, it doesn't last long.
Yeah.
She showed absolutely no pain or that it did anything at all. And I was just like, this is a weird choice. And it's not her choice, it's the director's choice. So I don't
Yeah.
blame her. I was just like, come on now.
Yeah, you would be screaming. I mean, that hurts like hell, especially the way he did it. He didn't do it through the knuckle.
With a rusty blade, too.
Yeah, he did it like through the bone. So that would be excruciating.
Yeah, maybe we're nitpicking about that, but I don't
Maybe
think
a little
so.
bit.
Maybe that's our job.
Hey, I actually like nitpicking, just FYI.
Me too. Have you met Malty?
I actually get it from my dad, believe it or not. But yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah. I
You were
remember
never
once.
good enough for him?
No. Whenever he'd watch something, he'd always like critique it. Like Die Hard 2, for example, the scene when they the outer signal marker, it just goes beep, 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 and we could use that to talk to the planes. And my dad was sitting there thinking, not if it doesn't have the right frequency, you can't, you dumbass. I mean, he
Oh
was an
my goodness.
electrician in the Air Force, so I mean, you'd think he'd know that stuff.
So you're saying your dad was the original Cinema Sins?
Pretty much, yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. It's good to be critical of things.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, how do you get better?
Yeah.
If you think everything's pissing golden showers, it's like you're never going to improve. So
Yeah.
it's good to nitpick the flaws. Mm-hmm. All right, so you have to sing it with me.
Oh, God.
I'm just kidding. We'll do that at the end.
Oh, thank God.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I think that's how we should end the stream. But you don't have to. Well, it's not the string, but
I was a fool for my Johnny, the one they call Johnny Guitar. Do, do, do. And then you heard it for like 50 fucking times in a row.
yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm tired of talking about Lucy. So let's move on to one of the last things that I did want to address, and maybe the reasons for it, because we don't know what's going to happen later. Where'd the damn dog go?
Yeah. I'm thinking he's going to come back in like a later episode or something like that. Because that's typically, well, you could dismiss dog meat, and I'm calling him dog meat out of habit. But anyway, uh, you could dismiss him and he'd always be, hanging out at like Vault 101 or over at the King's place in Freeside.
Yeah, but that thing, it never had a leash and
Yeah.
was following the ghoul around and also was nice to Lucy. And the fact that he was around both of them at the same time and then just magically he's not following them anymore.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell happened?
I think he's gonna come back at some point because I mean, if you remember, he's an escapee from the Enclave too, or I mean, well, they kind of say that, so that wasn't a spoiler.
Oh, if you've watched more than I have, then
No, that was
it
just the
might be.
first episode, from what I remember.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah. We all knew that already. We know where the dog came from.
yeah,
That was episode 2
or
where
episode two.
they were
Yeah,
doing. It started out with eugenics. Yeah. Well, that's where we got his backstory. So yeah, that's not a spoiler at all.
oh, good.
His name is CX404, but I'll call him Dog Meat.
Okay, it's the dog in a Fallout game, dog meat.
Yes, exactly.
It's just become force of habit.
I know they'll bring him up later. Like that dog's not gone. It's just little small continuity
Yeah,
issues that like you can kind of nitpick where you're just like you didn't think about it at the time, and then when the episode actually settles down with you, you're just like, wait, where the hell was the dog?
fridge logic.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. All right, so let's end on a high note. Okay, so what would you rate episode 3 and episode 4 if you had to give it a rating?
If I had to give it a rating, I would say episode 3 is probably 4.5 out of 10. But episode 4 is, I'd say it's probably a 6.5, upper 6, strong, almost 7 out of 10 for me.
Gotcha. Well, we're pretty close. I don't decimal my rating system, but I would give episode 3 a 4 out of 10 and episode 4 a 7 out of 10. Just and I explained my rating system at the end of the last review, so yeah, and I think episode 4 is definitely well deserving of a 7.
Yeah.
So I do not feel bad about. I don't feel like I'm giving it and doing it any favors.
It's easily the best. Excuse me. Damn it. Excuse me again. Easily the best episode out of the series so far.
Yeah, I agree. We have a consensus.
Yep.
All right. So, and to end on that good note with a good episode, those end credits. Holy, somebody needs to give those folks a raise.
Yeah, seriously.
It reminds me a whole lot of when you actually beat the main story of any Fallout game, and you're seeing like the afterthoughts, and you have those like images.
Yeah.
That are like all still frames, and it just like zooms in and out and tells you like exactly all the choices that you made and what happened.
Yeah.
What were the causes and what were the reactions to them. So I love the end credits.
Yeah, end credits are good.
Very well done. Well, Americus, I really want to appreciate you coming on.
No, no problem.
I know I kind of like threw this on you,
Eh,
but
I had nothing else to do, really. I mean,
well, you
maybe.
rose to the challenge. So,
Yeah.
and guys, if y'all don't know, Americus also streams on Kick. Well, show yourself, brother. Why
Well,
am
I
I talking
stream.
for you?
I don't know. I stream on Kick usually Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday nights. Yeah, currently I'm playing Tomb Raider. Don't know what I'm going to be playing after that. Probably just whatever. Actually, I might. I've been thinking about because I've been seeing other people playing New Vegas, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? I kind of want to download New Vegas again and then just mod the living shit out of it.
New Vegas, my favorite Fallout game.
Oh yeah,
Bugs and all, but
yeah,
the
warts and
storyline
all.
is the freaking best,
Oh yeah.
in my opinion. All right, so leave in comments section. What is your favorite Fallout game? And if you're a normie, you can go fuck yourself.
Stop
But
saying Fallout 4.
yeah, like you noobs, y'all didn't play the top-down ones. Like, yeah, okay, that's what I have to say to you. This is Malty Maldy with the GCA. I appreciate y'all so much. Feel free to say anything you want in the comment section. We'll only ban you if your name is Maximus. Thank you, Americus, for showing
No
up.
problem. Thanks for
All
having
right.
me.
We'll catch y'all later. Take care. Much love.
See ya.